So, here we go. Going down on good old Dunes of Arracis is a 5 versus 5. The rankings are actually a wee bit more over the place than I thought they were. We have a couple of low Joes, single pro hiding in there, and some high up Joes ready to take things on. Anyway, we have team 1 up top here, team 2 down the bottom. Let's have an introduction to all these guys. And first off, up the top it is Arracis. Arracis 1488. He's UEF in a lavender color, opening up with the first air factory, getting the adjacency to the hydro in front of him. It is Candy Noob. Candy Noob is the highest rated player. He's pink, he is Seraphim. His land factory is going to get double adjacency from these mass extractors. Beside Candy Noob up front, there's T1000. Don't let the Terminator get you. He's Seraphim as well. He's white, land factory with the double adjacency. Beside him on the front, it is Arracis. Arracis is Aeon, and he's orange again, land factory, double adjacency. Just really helps that early build, just use less mass. And finally, for team number 1 up the back in what would be the air position, it is Pleasantal. I don't know. I'm gonna call him Pleasant. Anyway, it's Pleasant. He is Cybran. He's in combat green, and he's working on his hydro and the air factory planned beside it, as you do. So hello team 1, how you doing? We have all the races represented. We have UEF, we have Seraphim, we have Aeon, we have Cybran. So those guys are nice and varied. Having a look at team number 2, and already walking his way out is Vex. His comes on the way, he's Cyan and he is Cybran. Moving on out beside him on the front line, it is Andrew quadruple 7. Andrew is Seraphim, light blue, working on his hydro. He did start a second factory, a poor choice. Definitely needed to get that hydro finished first. Beside him at the front, and also already walking away, it is Brotaku. Oh, Brotaku again. So I swear I don't even look at names when I'm checking out the replays to see who's going. I just look for a decent replay, but it's Brotaku. He's walking out to the front, and he's the highest rated player on team 2 of 1400 UEF in red, and his other front player also UEF. It is Venom 138. He is in grey, and he on his way. Curiously, for some reason, he has built these P-gens before building the hydro. This is the wrong way to do it. In your starting build, if this is your setup, you have enough energy and mass to build a land factory, 4 mass extractors, then your hydro. And if you do that build and do first couple of engineers out of the factory, go straight to building the hydro, you will complete it without stalling. Yeah, so he's done that a little bit wrong. I hear a little bit of fighting, and it is a Selene wandering on up. It has discovered some lone engineers, so that is Candy Noob having to go at them. And will the Selene survive? Well, it's being chased for a reclaim order, but it's good. Candy Noob's paying attention. He's going to get a couple kills out of that. But finally, we didn't introduce PCIX Monster. So PCIX is well, isn't that like an adaptive slot in a computer? Old motherboards. Anyway, he's Seraphim, he's in pale pink, it is air factory, and he is away. Selene has picked himself up a couple of kills, couple of engineers, just to be extra annoying. And but you can't really loiter with Venom pushing on his way up. And thank you very much for the follow, Tranquility. I mean, if you learn something, that's cool. If you're entertained by my cast, that's even better. I'm here to entertain. If you have fun, we are good. Drop up the top here from Arracis. He really wants those hydros. Has a couple of engineers working on those already. He's going to need some defenses eventually. He can't hold that with just engineers. Alrighty, in the middle though, we see it is Brotaku, and he is well and truly all up that spot by his commander by himself. And another Selene, it might be the same one actually, out from Candy Noob, killing some more engineers. Yes it is, but it's being chased down by a striker. Does not get that third kill. This engineer survives. Hero Striker saves his life. And then a few mech marines turn up and they just brutalize the Selene into nothingness. 4 mech marines versus 1 Selene. That poor thing never had a chance. Okay. So, the map. Reclaims just everywhere. There's no pockets of reclaim to get. There's no channels to fight down. There is a little bit of terrain variance for the dunes, but honestly it is just such a wide open map that you'll find it can be difficult to hold with like a fire base trying to set down a few T2PD and stuff like that, because they can just be skirted around. So much space to go, and these engineers should start reclaiming. If they're not going to build a factory, Might as well get reclaiming some of these rocks. Otherwise it's just idle time. Hey, NG's up this way from 1000. Looks like they were doing a bit of reclaim mission over that way. We have Kandanoob up front with his comm just chilling for the moment, just trying to think of his next move. He is grabbing upgrades as we go. Just have a quick gander for tech. Upgrade on the way for Blizzard. So what he's done is he's built a second air factory. This is going to be his, I guess, his main air production factory while he upgrades this one. And he's just throwing out a few scouts. This is a way to do it. If you throw out a few scouts, get them out early, you can have a look at your opponent and you can check what they might be doing, because you see there he's doing the same thing. We have T2 on the way for PCI, but he is a wee bit behind there. He's about halfway done, whilst Pleasant is actually completed. Going to see a few T2 engineers roll off there, step down a T2 factory most likely. They will get some power up before shifting to T3. Now, speaking of upgrades, we have T2 on the way for T1000, just simply standing there. He's taking those tank shots to the face, not really worrying about it, not enough to care, and he will complete that unless some extra pressure comes down on him, and there's nothing in the region to for that. But on the right hand side, this is Vex pushing up. He is way in advance of the midline, if you will, and he is pushing Arracis right back. Arracis has a unupgraded commander too, defending against all of that, and he's really on the defensive right on the off, and that suits Vex just fine to hold all this extra territory. Extra mass extractors, extra income, extra helpful. T2 still on the way for T1000. He just basically sat there, took all those shots down into the yellow, lost about a third of his health, but he's alright. He'll carry on there. Gun upgrade for Venom is 85% done, just about there. Will be difficult to take care of. We see gun upgrade on the way for Brotaku as well, but T2 is coming down for Kandanoob, and if he can slap down a few T2 point events, it will definitely slow the advance of gun commanders. Right, so you see everybody's kind of like in their channel, if you will. Although bit of an overlap here. We see we've got Brotaku and Venom overlapping in this channel here. Really, Venom should have gone up this way and Brotaku up this way. We have had Andrew push into this spot against T1000. On the bottom side we have Vex, who's really run amok over Arracis. Air players are looking handy. We have Pleasant is just about to finish his first T2 Pigeon. We look down here and, well, he's not too far behind his PCI. He's just about to go into the green on that. But not too far behind in the air side of things. Alright, Venom is pushing forward with the gun comm, and this is Candy trying to get some T2 PD up. He needs it. If he can keep the commander away just a little bit, as long as Venom doesn't push too fast, he can get that PD up and it'll be a huge help. Add that into the T1 spam and Venom won't be able to push too forcefully with that. Extra damage from the point defense is definitely going to shoo him away. There we go. He has to try and wade through the T1 spam to get there. Doesn't have enough T1 spam of his own to help out. If he had some more of his own units, and if he pushed those in, then he could have distracted the point defense with the units while the commander charged on up. And hello, Ghetto Gunship. So gunship with T1 assault bots, labs on this thing, and this is what it does. The labs can fire from transports. And it's called a Ghetto Gunship. It's absolutely hilarious. You can't tell it what to target, unfortunately. It just shoots whatever it wants to, but shoot it does. Now, it doesn't want to get too close to anti-air because that will demolish it quite happily. Transport is fairly tough though, 500 health, and once that's down, in come the anti-zo, and everything's dead. It's a risk you take. It is a Ghetto Gunship kind of thing. It's just completely hilarious, but yeah, it does go down pretty easily. The efficiency is fairly similar. Ghetto Gunships are more of a surprise thing, and of course if a bunch of air turns up you can drop them all to the ground and they can keep them some DPS. It's actually not too bad. I remember doing some comparisons back in the day and it was fairly comparable. I can't remember the stats. It's more of a surprise thing. It's more like, I've got a transport, I've got some assault bots, I'll just slap them with them. Away you go. Up the top here, and Arracis. Get some scouting going on in push. There's currently nothing between all these units and a lovely raid down the left hand side except for a stray engineer. And he's actually just been told exactly that by his teammates. There we go, the units are on the move. They can kill off these mass extractors. Because at the moment it is 2v1 down here for Candy. He's having to hold the mid against Mr. Venom as well as Brotaku, though Brotaku's not doing too much on there. He's getting another upgrade. I'm not sure what that will be. At the stage I missed a notification. Mana repair. So he's going for a combat commander. Down this way though, filthy tack launcher. And that is going straight for mass extractors. Yes indeedy. He's got T2 NGs. He needs to start on TMD right away. No, over there is no good. Put it here in front of your main base. That's where the tack missiles are going to go. And that's where you need it. But there we go. Next tack missile floating over. We're going to see another one die. And, oh no, it goes all the way to the back. It was a strange choice. Maybe that was a power storage. I missed it. Obviously his decision was to send it at that right away. Still get up the TMD. Get some assistance on there. There we go. Better location, but it's going to be too little or too late. That tack missile is going to impact on the T2 HQ. He's lucky he's got some T2 engines out who can build the TMD. That is now a bunch of kills for that tack launcher. It has absolutely paid for itself. TMD is up, and you can now start looking at rebuilding this mass extractor there and perhaps upgrade one of these factories to T2. Alright, bit of a push going on though. This is Arracis double gun com, so extra range on that. Throw in a couple of shields around them, going to help the survivability. Could maybe not push this, especially with some T2 PD going down from Vex. He's going to be able to hold that situation happily, and there we go. That push on the left has gotten all the way down here. It got all the way through. They can just keep on going. Kill off a bunch more stuff. And Arracis should have pushed up behind this a bit more, with a bit more aggressiveness. Down here though, this is Arracis needing to be careful. He has wandered into range of T2 PD, doesn't have a lot of units with him, but he has got some T2 and of course the shield is helping keep his comm alive until that disappears. Reasonable push. He could maybe push on if his units survive. There's a lot of AA in that group actually. He could push down, take out some of those point missiles, quite a lot of damage, and he's opting to be the safer route and drop back and not die, as I may have done in a foolish decision. Alright, supporting units coming over from T1000, doesn't really need them. He's falling back, he's got a gun comm, he'll be absolutely fine. Okay, he would upgrade away from Venom, so he's really going for that combat commander. He's got the gun upgrade, he's got the nano upgrade for extra health and extra regen, going down for shield as well. It's going to be a very chunky commander to have a fight with. And speaking of chunky commanders, well, Andre does have gun comm, but he's kind of wandered into range into a couple of T2 PD. Not the greatest idea. Wanders back, he is down at the other, going to get some point defense of his own down. He's going to need us if he has to try that again, which was not the best idea. Tack missile, where from? All the way back here. That's from Candy Noob. So Candy Noob has slapped a tack launcher on his commander, and he's using it as a mobile tack battery. Wander around, just attack from different angles and get around things like tack defense, like that there. Ooh, Arracis. Don't walk into that. That's a problem. Point defense now under shields, and his commander cannot push that anymore by itself. That is just a terrible time. But have a look at this, these tack missiles flying over from Candy from the other side of the map. Range on that, well, that's basically it. Is he going for the tack launcher? I think he is. He's going to get it. I think he isn't just defended by this tack defense right there, so the launcher stays alive. Cool. That's a bunch of kills for Candy and killing off a couple of mixes. Always useful. Always useful. Alright, we see Brotaku is now pushing his units left. is concerned about the build-up of units over here, as he needs to be, because Venom has not much on the ground to stop this. Going to be a bit of a pace-off there. This is all T1 for Agate, and there is some T2 in the mix here. I did see it. There we go, there's a pillar. It's the one pillar? Just the one pillar. I don't see any others, so still though, it's a sizable unit. Be a bit of a stalemate should those two teams fight. Okay. Now, here's where we're seeing the downside of having a firebase here. Those guns reach about that far. Just look at the size of the gap that is left for this. That's a hell of a bush they can go down there. And App is still using his comms, so still pushing away. He's going to be able to do a good amount of murdering with all of that. The question is, does he have radar to see things that are coming? The answer is no. So that's always going to be an issue. Really, really wants to have radar as Aeon. Especially a gun combo, you want to be able to shoot things at range as soon as possible, rather than letting them get closer. But there's not much on the ground to stop him. A few T1 units rocking on up, but there's T2 in here, and the commander's going to have a bad time. Fracas going on the left hand side even as we speak. These units from Akit have pushed on in. Unfortunately, they pushed on in through the units from Brotaku, and there are some supporting ones from Venom, so I don't think they're going to get a lot done. Maybe if they had a primary the factory, they could have killed it, but not anything anymore. Only a few tanks left, and they are going to die horrible death. Don't push these in now, that would be a waste of time. Instead, reinforce. And what's going on up here? We have a tech launcher battery planned. Well, I know he's planning them, but is he really going to be able to kill much? Well, I suppose he could, maybe, kill off a couple of bits of that, but there's TMD all over the place. That ain't going to go down so well, so these tech launchers are inefficiently placed. Definitely want them further up. Down this way we can see the push from Apis has gone right through. Those T2 Obsidians are doing grand old work to anything that's there. Commander in the region is throwing down a land factory for probably engineers to reinforce, because why not? There was a counter push coming up from Vex to try and get through, but he don't think he quite has the units to do it. Does have some T2, but the shields over here along with the assisting T1 RT means this slot are not going to have a good time. Don't think they're going to get too much faster. Plus T2 coming on down. Right. However, that is very, very far forward for Apis, and we just saw a T3 ASS fly over his head beforehand, so we could see bombers come out. But that's still ASF rocking out of that factory. And a big push on the left. This is coming from Venom and Brotaku combined. The units are together, the units are moving, and they are just cutting apart the defenses of Akit. Nothing much on the ground to slow those, although the reinforcements are slowly coming in. They're also slowly getting decimated. And this lot are ready to go. See, Candy has recognized the danger and is sending his units over to try and help reinforce there. Have a couple of T1 PD up this way, and this is all tanks. There is zero. No, there is some T1 ID. I'll take that back. A couple of bits T1 ID, but maybe not enough. Especially if they just walk into the T1 PD without actually slowing down to shoot at that range. Gonna have fun times for that guy. Okay, but here we go. This is Apis wandering through the middle. His units have gotten over this way. This could be ill-advised, and that's a brick. So Vex has just skipped the T2 phase entirely, not even bothering with anything on there. He's gone straight to T3, straight to a brick, and that is going to clean up this little sortie quite effectively. But having said that, Obsidians do have a massive alpha, and they would be a bit of a danger to the brick, especially if the commander is around. Down here though, what have we got? We have sniper bots. So that is Andre. He has done a small little firebase and is throwing down sniper bots. Sniper bots, of course, going to have a grand old time killing off all of this, and the T2 ID is just not enough to take on all of those. See the shots coming in and things getting destroyed. The field's gone, the T2 ID is gone. This point is untenable for a forward base position now. This way we can see the armies flexing against each other, and some T1 PD here is getting some extra damage in on the edges of this army from Venom. Why not? Get some kills. because they're there and you can do it. 10 kills on that guy, not quite going to get a rank of veterancy, so close, but so far. But they're going to get cleaned up by the combined forces of Candy and Attic, and he should think about now getting some engineers up this way to reclaim this giant mass field, which is what we see Brotaku doing with these guys. Elsewhere on the map, Candy is here. He's quite happy in his current situation. Doesn't have to worry about this at this stage, doesn't need to push it, just needs to hold his position. There we go, attack missiles, and oh, have they spotted Venom? There's 5 attack missiles coming in for Venom. He does a little bit of a dance and a dodge, gets away from the first 5. Or whether he saw this coming in is the question. He just moves in time and he's standing there. Do not want. So it's definitely a tech sniper team from Arracis. I still think that is the wrong place to have them. Yeah, I think that's the wrong place to have them. He's got no idea where the commander's gone, so firing blindly is not going to get you anything. Really trying to lead your target, and I hear a commander. Arracis has a problem. He needs a lot of overcharge to take care of those bricks. He does have some, but looking down to the yellow already, does have overcharge actually, and the bricks are done for. That is very fortunate that he overbuilt. So another thing they changed with the balancing was you need to have more overcharge, more energy storage to do more damage. If you only have 1 energy storage, you won't be able to do that much extra damage with the overcharge, but you see here Arracis has built 5, and that helped him do the extra large damage to those bricks, which is what allowed him to get away, and really he needs to just go. The bricks coming in on them, there's T3 air, so you're bound to see some strat bombs coming out soon, and way up front is not where you need your commander for that kind of thing to happen. T3 RD in the middle from Brotaku, and that's just going to do a area denial. See, these things have a reasonable amount of range, and anything in that zone is just going to get peppered over and over and over. Another attack attempt from Arracis. These things are just not really paying for themselves. They might kill off what's over here. There we go, there's a factory down, but they didn't even kill the mass extractor. Should have killed the mass extractor. Factory is nothing, can be rebuilt. Mass extractor takes time, takes mass, reduces income. Would absolutely be the better option. Now we have sniper bots down here from Mr. Indre, and shield upgrade on the way for Arracis, but shield isn't going to help when you can't shoot back at what's shooting you. These sniper bots are a real danger for him. He does not want to keep his comm up front any longer. Question is, does he know that they are there? The answer is no. No radar, no nothing. We go, attack missiles coming in. Well, they got some buzzkills going up now. They could have killed off those, but they did not. So let's stop building on those. Might as well kill them, reclaim them. Not going to get much more done. Too much TMD here, too much TMD here with shields. Now there's TMD going down here. They have done their bit, and this is the danger. Arracis is pushing with his commander, and while he can overcharge the bricks, all these guys have got to do is stay back. If they can stay at range, you can see the shield is basically gone for Arracis, and if he gets primaried by these things, he's going to start losing health rapidly. He cannot keep pushing with that. His units are dying. There is a brick, yes, but he's about to walk into a couple of T1 PD, and the sniper bots are just going to shred his health. This is ill-advised from Arracis. No scouting. He's got no idea what he's walking into. He's got no radar, so he's not even shooting things at range. And now he can be chased. Now the sniper boss can push forwards. And look at that. No response to this. He has to try and push on them, but he can't because they're being paid attention to. Now they're walking away. Arracis down to half health, down to 8,000. And I believe he is a doomed man at this point. Too far forward, not enough support. He is out of the game. This is what he needs to do, get his units in front of his comm. Maybe he can get away, maybe the units can kill the sniper bots. They are very weak, but he's down to 2,1700 health. The sniper bots are still having to go 600 health, 150, and goodbye Arracis. P3 stage is not where you want your commander to be up front. It is a terrible, terrible idea, but it is full share. So his entire base, all this down the right hand side, has been handed over to the air player. This is extra eco for Pleasant, and he should really give that over to somebody else on the front line so he can focus on his air, which he really, really needs to do. Vex has built an experimental, so that's what Vex has been doing. That's a monkey lord. So he wanted his comp back to his base, and he slapped out a monkey lord. That is going to be a problem to deal with. Bad times. Alright, you can see there is T3RD over here, mobile T3RD having to go. A big push again from Arracis. He's moving on up. He's caught a Percival and a factory. Percival's going to take a while to shoot through. Might as well focus down the factory. The T1 units versus the Percival is just hilarious, unless it's T1RD and that Percy's sitting still. I mean, have a look at the amount of damage just shrugging off to those tanks. Basically, this is going, I don't give a fuck. Really? But Arracis looks to be moving forward a bit more. If you can get over this way, there are some vulnerable engineers he could kill. Maybe kill off the buzzkills. No point. Candy Noob has built an experimental, but have a look at this. Titans pushing up into the main base, and what's going on here? We are seeing some T2 PD trying to be spammed up, but a lot of Titans. I think he's going to want to try spamming up T1 PD instead. A little busy, but Titans in your base is never a great thing. Chicken is coming on over there, and that is almost a complete crab. Wow, that's like, what's that, 70-80% done? 75% done. But the chicken is well timed indeed. It's exactly what they needed to just shoot these guys away. Without that chicken, I think things could have gone a lot worse. Crab takes some damage from the Titans, but is still on the way up. Right. Chicken is a saving grace. So much T3 mobility over here. And Ravages. Now there's Ravages going up. And that's going to be extra damage. That poor engineer. The range of a Ravager has a terrible, terrible time of it. Right, a bunch of T2 units on the left from Burotaku. They still haven't pushed up this way. Which means it's still intact. These are still intact. There was the start of a T3 air factory. Never got finished. And that was an experimental. The crab is done from T1000, but at the same time, Burotaku finishes a Fatboy. That chicken may very well have hit the megalith with AoE. Friendly fire is a thing, so the AoE may well have damaged the megas. He is missing about 15,000 health. The Titans would have been shooting at it as well, so I think it's a bit of both. But absolutely, the AoE is probably worth it to keep the crab and all the infrastructure alive to kill off the Titans. Good times. Righty-ho though, that monkey is moving on up, and well, I'm going to guess that hasn't been noticed. So here's a little telltale sound. Sometimes you can hear that. Yeah, there's a monkey somewhere, and you'll see those little wee things. However, monkey versus crab. This never, ever goes well for the monkey. Like, not ever, not even remotely. That boy in the middle, and that's going to be an annoyance, a massive annoyance. Going to be a good deterrent for the Athota, especially if the Athota tries to walk into these T3 Ravages and point events. The Athota is going to take a absolute punishing amount of damage from trying to advance on that, but it kind of has to. It does a little bit of dodging. Look at that, the micro from Candy Noob just tweaking left and right, twitching left and right, just like changing the angle of attack a little bit like that. You see how much firepower misses whilst doing so. Shields are coming in as well. That's going to help survivability, and now with the shield down, boom, along comes that AoE ball of death to kill things. Does great damage, and some supporting lightning tanks in case of air coming overhead, but basically might as well push it right on in now. Get in and kill as much of this as you can. The lightning storm should finish off the rest. It's not going to get out of there. You can't run from a Fatboy when you're that low in health, so hey, charge straight on in, kill stuff, let the lightning ball do its thing, and this entire section is cleared out. What happened to the monkey? Well, the monkey's over here pushing in on those units, but now it's had the attention of the crab, and the crab says, excuse me, what are you doing? Monkey's going to get a lot of kills though. It could have cleaned up all those units, and it can do a fair amount of damage with its laser. Like, I mean, you have a look at the health just dropping off the Mega, but then you have a look at the health just drop off the Monkey with those shots. Boom, dead. Time to say hello to the brick. Time to say goodbye to the brick. And if we can get some engineers out there, keep the crab rooters, pop out some engineers, get the reclaim, good time. Yeah, a lot of people kind of forget to support the Monkey Lord. They think, oh, that's okay. It's going to survive. It'll, you know, it's got stealth, it won't be seen. But it does need help. It has a stealth field for a reason. It doesn't have personal stealth, it has a field. You send units along with it. You send some ground units, you send some anti-air, you send some bricks up this way to get mauled by a couple of whalers and straight into range of T2 PD, which are going to have a grand old time. A shield should hold long enough for that brick to die. Good. Yeah, we're good. And we have another chicken, I hear it. Here it is, it was chicken versus crab, and of course a very, very heavily damaged crab is no match for a chicken. Chickens put out a lot of firepower. They are an assault bot, and they have weapon after weapon. They've got the Gatling gun on the left arm, they've got the speedy, the slow ball of doom that does a huge amount of damage. And then they've got the right arm, which has another fast firing era effective weapon. So at the moment it is Fatboy or Brotaku. We have a chicken out for Andre. We have another chicken out here for Candy Noob, trying to get in range of anything. Really wants to stop that happening. Not really afford to let your opponents do that. That was a attack missile from somewhere, because I saw the Buzzkills having a go at it. But now shields with the Yathota, having a good old time, doing a wee bit of dodgy work, spinning left, right, just trying to avoid as much gun, just as much as possible, but it's still a wee bit of a scary thing. Fatboy or no, that's a chicken coming at you. So Percivals. Percivals are the UEF answer to direct fire experimentals. You get a bunch of these guys, mass for mass, they do great jobs against experimentals. The alpha and range they have on those guns is incredibly useful, and they will do good things to, well, from the Percival's point of view, to experimentals. Not going to get in range of this Fatboy, unfortunately. Just tries to spin away a little bit, just survive a little bit longer, maybe kill off a couple of Percivals, and it is going to die very shortly. An incoming lightning storm. Left hand side we are seeing a bunch of T3s, a couple of Percivals supported by a whole swarm of Titans against T2, and that's never going to end well for the T2. The T2 is horribly outmatched, and we do have T3 on the field popping out pillars. Why? It seems like a daft idea. You have T3, it's definitely a T3 stage with 30 minutes in. You want. But down this way, this chicken has just sort of been standing still. It basically just wanted to secure this wreck, which it has, and the wreck is just about gone. It's scooped all up. Monkey wreck over here getting schlepped up as well. So not wanting to push too far is Team 2, just wanting to grab those wrecks and put them into things of their own. Another chicken down here, but some Titans decide they want to walk in range of the lightning storm. Does not end well. Really doesn't. Brotaku does another experimental, so that's a second Fatboy. He's now got two sitting on the field ready to roll on out. The T1 spam is real. Gandhi supporting a Yathota, so really I think they're just there to be targets of opportunity, distracting targets perhaps. But it might have worked, because this could be close enough for the chicken to catch up with the Fatboy. If it walks in a straight line, it could get there and start doing some extra damage, and indeedy, I think this Fatboy is not going to get away. That's a shame. It's got 55 kills, got a rank of veterancy, but right now, it now has a chicken firing up its butt that's in range. And that is a dead Fatboy. That's a chicken with a rank of veterancy now. Good for him. Massive air fight happening over on the right hand side, and who's going to come out on top of this? That is looking like a terrible turn from PCI, and indeed it is a terrible turn. And Fleasant chases him down, slaughters The air, have a look at that. That is air completely 100% utterly won by Pleasantville, and it is now time to take advantage of that. It is strat bomber time. Really needs to use the opportunity while he's got a second Fatboy out from Brotaku down here though. That is going to assist with slowing down that chicken. Titans sweeping on through. That would be great against all the T1RD. But the chicken is a hazard. Question is, can it get close enough to the Fatboy to do some damage? Well, whatever happens, it's been a heck of a pushback from Candanu. He has gone right up through the center and trying to get things done. Chicken now getting shot in the back by the Titans. The T1RD is trying to do its thing. The shells are coming down, doing some damage, but the chicken really wants to get in range of the fatty. Unfortunately, it has to do the little twisty toony left and right, and out come the strats. There is a half a dozen strats coming out from PCI. The extra damage on the chicken is exactly what they needed. Now the Fatboy has a chance at surviving. Depends on the second run. Corsairs flick on over, and okay, now the Fatboy won't survive. Down the Fatboy goes. Chicken won't be too far away though. Strats bombing on overhead, and it dies right about there. And did I see flashing across my screen? I did T3 artillery. So that's what Andre has really been doing. He scooped up all that mass and turned it into a T3 RD, and what is he shooting at? Well, no surprise there, going for the air player, who not only has Cyber and Shield, which are some of the weakest, but wasn't even having his air grid shielded until much too late. And now the shells land, and he really wants to get some more shielding, really wants to get this upgraded, because it won't be long before those shells penetrate and produce some devastation. Next shell's coming on in. Well, lucky the impact on that shield. Needs to get this one finished ASAP, which he does, to get this one upgraded very quickly. Shells dropping in, and that's not great. Vex has built another experimental. There's already a third out front for Andre, and it's having grand old time against all this T1. Though there is another chicken bearing down upon it. Engineers are on the reclaim. You see there from Candy, they are grabbing the mass as they can. While this Yathojo has been distracted by all of the T1 spam, this one rocks on in and just adds in his extra firepower. And we're just going to see the health drop off that. Needs to try and dodge that ball. Doesn't dodge the ball, as neither does that one. See the giant chunk of health those things take off. Ball comes in, watch the health. Clunk, that was like 10k damage from that thing. Massive. 6k. 6k damage from that ball on his head. Is it really? There we go. The second weapon down there, the phased beam generator. Direct fire. Damage 6,000. Wowza. Splash 4. Don't know what that means, just splash 4, but hey, that's damage. 6,000 damage from that head ball. Huge amount of blood back here. How are we looking? Oh, we ain't looking so good. That is a very exposed T3 PGen. If a round lands in the middle here, that's going to be a lot of damage. Oh, it's going over there. Shield gen up and expanded, but not enough. It's going to be close. Starting tactical nuke. So Brotaku has decided, you know what? I'm just going to nuke. I'm just going to get a tactical launcher off my back. I'm going to get an exploding tactical launcher off my back. Or shells dropping on down. That was the perfect one they needed. Right in the middle, kills off one T3 PGen and a pair of factories. There's a huge amount of damage to that shield, and this is not great here. More going on down. He does keep his HQ, but the shields are disappearing, and he needs to build this one fast. This is not great for Pleasant. So unfortunately, Siren shields are the weakest. Comes to T3RD lobbing down onto your base. You don't want Siren shields as your defense because they are the weakest. They don't take as long to get punched through. Blinks on just in time. Oh, that shell lands. Okay. So he's got T3RD problems, a lot of them. I say a lot of them, it's just the one. But you see the workers get done against Siren shields is immense. Chicken down here is having a grand old time. He has finished off this little 4 base. Incredibly hurt, but he won't care. This has been a gap opened up for units to speed on through, but that is a crab. And chicken in the red versus crab in the green. That is very much not good for chicken. Grab people, grab people. And there we go. No, chicken's running, as he should. Alright, T1000 builds an experimental. Well, T1000, he has built a crab of his own. That is very handy indeed. I feel like, fortunately, this T3RD has meant Pleasant has been 100% unable to take advantage of his air superiority. Yes, he won air. He had all the ASFs, he had air 1, but sadly, it sounded, never mind, just a support commander. That's fine. Right, chicken here from Candy is having problems with a Fatboy, Ravages, and an opposing chicken, and that is just, oh, Rotaku's Takenuk is cancelled because he died. Tech battery here, so Akit was determined to get somebody with that tech battery, and somebody he did, he killed off the commander. I wonder if that was the right call though. This would be a better target. If he fired right here for Andre, I think that would be a much better target. Does he have enough tech missiles in there? No, he doesn't. He launched as soon as he could. Get these built. And honestly, hit that. This is doing all the damage right now. They know it's there, right? They know it's there. Get those. Launch them at that. That would be the best move he could do right now. There's no TMD yet. All the assistance is on this quantum gateway, trying to build another artillery set of more shields. Everything's gone to the airplane to give him extra ego. And he has strats aplenty, though it looks like they are about to get caught out by the air wing. Yes, they are. Going to be a huge strats loss. Doesn't want to overcommit though. He knows that AS is coming in from PCI. And right now he has no production because his base is in tatters from the T3RT. Very unfortunate. These tech missiles coming in, is that tax? Are they launching for the right thing? Questions, answers, yes they are. Yields are down. Are there more techs on the way? No, there's not. And now the tech launchers are in range of the Fatboy. And I think that is not going to die. Has more than enough health to survive a single attack, which is all that's coming its way. I do wonder if that was the right call. I do wonder if killing Rotaku was the correct call. Those attacks could have come down here. I feel like this was the bigger threat. If he had lobbed his tech missiles down here, killed off Andre and the T3RT at the same time, we've also potentially killed the SMD with the combat explosion. Would have done that, would have been fine. That would have relieved the pressure of Rod Pleasant, who's just been hammered, absolutely hammered by T3RD. And speaking of T3RD, we have one just about up for Candy. He's been basically ignored by his opponent, so why not get his own T3RD up? And the question is, anybody else been one? Well, yes, we have Vex with a RT up there, but we've missed all the middle action. There have been had a chicken die over there from this guy. Some Fatboys almost in range of this. If it can get close enough, it can start pumping out some extra damage on those guys. Exactly what it needs to do, but just struggling to move straight with all the fire coming on in. There we go, finally in range, can start walking forwards maybe. But look at that is some really good micro breaks to try and keep it alive. Maybe not going to help though. Can potentially kill off one Fatboy. If this lands, that will be a dead Fatboy. And dead Fatboy it is. Chicken now in range of the other fatty. Can it do enough damage before it dies is a question. Why is it shooting at the mass extractor? Bad choice, but chicken goes down. Fatboy is now in range of that. Some strats do pop out from Pleasant. They're going to finish off the Fatboy because hey, why not? Actually, no, it's got 158. Take that back. Dead by lightning storm. Strats are coming though. They have been spotted and the air wing was distracting over here for his own strats. They are going to get through. That's a lot of them. Are they going to kill something? Well, here they come. That is Candy Noob. Gets away from that, but more stress coming in. It's way more than it could be handled, and Candy Noob has been picked off finally by PCI. He makes his air advantage count. So it's the T3RD moving on those, and that is no Wasser. So T1000 deciding we have air. I'm going to build an Awassa. Now the question is, does he know how to use it? Well, it's up and it is maybe away. The ASFs need to come down and support it right away. Don't stop, keep going. Oh dear, that's a miss. That is not good. The Awassa could have been away and could have had some support, but more stress coming in, and this is Arracis. Arracis goes down. Commander unfortunately was a recipient of some extra bombs because he was standing near Candy when he went down. And the Awassa has got no air support. Yes, it does have some of its own anti-air, which isn't awful. It is picking off the ASFs quite well, but it has shed a huge amount of health, and the question is, what now? Got a couple of crabs down here from T1000. He's doing okay. And getting more reclaim on that crab itself. The Awassa needs to be used. Maybe we could come down here with some extra stress behind it, throw some bombs, knock the shields, and then knock the T3RDs potentially. Two commanders in the region, Andre and Venom. They're just all begging for bombing. But right now the T3RT is doing absolute work. 29,000 mass destroyed, and if you consider the amount of that which doesn't count because it's been hitting shields, it's massive. Absolutely massive. And even after all of that, even after the eco still, oh, it's probably reclaim related, 1.3 to 1.3, but the total mass is well in favour of Team 2. It's not looking great. The Awassa still floating around, needs to be used. Got to drop a bomb on something. It's got 22 kills, so it has bombed. Now that's killing off the ASFs that were chasing it. Seriously, not enough. T1RD up here is being in bulk. They're just gathering it up and just streaming it in, and that is just a feast for Fatboys. Clumped up T1 units for Fatboys coming on in. That's not going to be on good. There we go. Awassa drops his bomb over this way. Not a bad choice. Gets a large whip of units there. Wants to try and hit the crab though, because it is crab versus crab action, and damaged. Two damaged crabs actually. If they can focus that crab down, they'll be alright. There we go. Double crab versus one, and that is going to be a bad time for this guy. Is not even going to get a counter kill. Is simply going to die. There will be two damaged crabs facing off against it, but hey. The bomb slung on out. It's going to knock down the shields, knock down the factories. Very damaged SACU. Crabs can now wander forward a little bit and clean up the rest of that stuff. There is another crab inbound though, and these guys are heavily injured. Bad time to encounter a full health crab. I hear explosions, more stress coming in, but they are taken down by the what remains of Pleasant's air wing, which is honestly not a lot. Another crab is created by T1000. Good to go, but the T3RD just never ever stopped on Pleasant. Trying to spam up shields. So there was a shell, it must have missed and gone off the edge. More shells that have missed, gone off the edge of the map, and they just kept falling. Kept falling and falling and falling. But Pleasant, defeated by Control K. He has decided he's had enough. I've got no idea where his comm is, it's not that. See in a moment where Pleasant's comm is, but he is bowed out. There he is. Moved his comm into the middle of nowhere. He is tired. He's had enough of the T3RD. Getting down there? No. Cyan didn't target any grab. He was on defensive. I believe his focus was elsewhere. Is going to not going to win this fight though. It was two damaged crabs versus the one, and you can see it's just been enough of an extra that this crab's going to survive. It won't survive for long. Going to kill this crab here, but there's some T1RD coming in, and I'm sure there's going to be some strap bombers showing up in a second. But now it is down to T1000. He has all the ego, but he has all of it to do. He has three Fatboys wandering around. He has a crab down here, which is probably going to be lost. He has no air because the air grid keeps on getting shelled, and the question is, does he know what he's going to do? I'm going to start his own artillery over here, but T3RT, of which now there is multiple. We have Here we go, 2 sitting here for Andre. There's just the 2, is it? Also, but have a look at the massive air grid over here. That would have been tough to RT down because they're under Seraphim shields. But there are 2 arties now and they're firing almost in unison. So they will take down shields really badly. It'll be like one will hit the shield and the next one will hit underneath if the shield goes down. Assistance on the shield to regen it, because that's kind of needed. But even if both shells hit them almost exactly the same time, regen or not, you could shield. Right, what is the plan? Mr. T1000. You could nuke. So there is an SMD sitting right there, so maybe nuke isn't the right idea. Another one sitting over there. T3RD is probably the only thing he's got. Crab goes down to Fatboy Fire. 3 of them charging on in is not great for your health. Fully healed, full health. Sorry, full health Crab over there is quite happily just chilling, though it can be knocked down by Fatboys at extreme range if it just stays not moving like that. It will take a lot of punishment, but it will go down. T3RD remain raining down upon that shield. It just about dropped. Just for a moment it looked like he could have been exposed. Indeed, the shield does go down. Wants to think about redirecting these to support the shield's regen. Oh, and he just loses a whole lot of willpower. Venom has another experimental, and here come the strats. That's another whole bunch from PCI. So PCI has been basically just builds up a huge horde of strats that cannot be stopped with the paltry amount of air he has. Here they go. The shields are having a bad time of it. The strats are getting through. Here come the bombs. Here comes the T3RD to soften the shields up at the same time, and we are going to see T1000 taken out by a combination of artillery and strats.